Good morning. About 20 after 9 on the 11th of June, 2019. Reminding traders to use risk capital you can afford to lose. This is E for eminywizard.com and marketwizards.com. So let's take a look and see what's happened overnight. We know that we've made a new high. We know yesterday we had said that we are looking for the 05 to 08 for our next completion targets. So 08 has been achieved as per yesterday's videos. You can go back and see those targets we talked about. And I think Don is really catching on to the idea of squeeze pivots, because he mentioned this bar specifically right there. What about that? And I said, absolutely, that's a squeeze pivot. And that was yesterday's open defended by the longs. So that's a very important observation. Until that breaks, that's pushing up, or at least holding us captive in a range type trade. This morning, you could feel the pressure back here, and that's when I had said at the time, this 97 is certainly going to be an important area. It's a third time through trade. So I said, you've got to pay attention. You could see it. And then obviously this little guy right in here was trying to hold. And then if we do it again, you can also see it just above it. And that was a third time through trade at 99.75, I suggested. Tiny, yes, but you could see how this inchworm is crawling overnight in low volume. So all I can tell you is we're a long way from where we started this. The completion targets, the next completion target I've got is from 10 to 12 and a half. Anything above that, good fortune. And I think today, one of the most important things you can do is stay out of trouble. Everybody's trying to guess the top. Keep saying we're going to run into a top. Well, that's going to be the stop clock, right? They're going to be right once. But a lot of traders have, admitted and said, I don't want to buy up here. It's too high. What they're really saying is they don't trust themselves to take their stop when they're wrong. Because a lot of times when we get to a high, we get these blow-off tops that just run like crazy. And some of the easiest gains are made in these blow-off type moves where they just keep accelerating and traders keep guessing and fueling the fire. We obviously have the open coming up. Anybody that is long side, I'd said at the time, make sure you are paid a point above this 675, that's 7 to 08, because that was our target zone. So all I can suggest is we will be looking at opportunities today, both directions. Obviously, the push is long side. We still have a morning after trend day trade, but maybe getting tired. But for sure, the most important support right now in my mind is this squeeze pivot, 2,900. The shorts have to get it back here and start to undo some of this fluff from overnight. So we're going to keep an eye on yesterday's high, technique we continue to use. And if we get below it and stay below it, then obviously that's been abandoned and we're searching for support. Yesterday I said 98 had been abandoned. Well, guess what? It was temporary. You wake up and you see what they've done and you say, okay, so we still have the same support we talked about, 82 to 85. And that was why we projected this idea today. Okay, good possibility we can get to that 08. So that's already been done. It's not necessarily my primary target, but it sure is close. So be careful about any new highs that we make into IB in terms of trying to hold on to them forever. Five-minute chart. Said, let's use the 5-minute chart. It seems to be working. There was that 98 that got busted. You can see how we turned around and that became supportive. It's just what I was looking at pre-market. And then I'm looking back here saying, doesn't seem like it wants to go down. I guess that's the third time through. And we get the little goose and the little goose, and here we are. So we're going to keep this low right in here, this 2,900. We're going to keep this idea. And if you want to be more conservative, obviously you're going to use this 98 idea. And here's your third time through there. So that's a 5-minute look. Here's your 10. Remember yesterday we drew this line, said that's our support line. Got to bust that before the next one. Yeah, well, here we are. And then the 15. And Brian had posted in the room, 15 blue line, that looks good. So here we are. And the 30-minute. Look at your 30. Look how good your 30-minute chart has been. So until this breaks, we have to assume that this blue line is support. Now, a news event could come out anytime and undermine it, but in general, you need to be paid by this blue line, and that's actually the add-on, we said. So big boy, that's where they added, trying to get to the 10 to 12 and a half idea. And we can obviously see that we do not have a demon yet. Target 10 to 12 and a half, almost there. And realistically, I've said before, if you're comfortable buying high and selling higher, there's no easier way to trade. You get into the flow and you let it take you where you want to go. Because we know the measured move, we know the targets. So you're keying off of ideas. The squeeze pivots give you your ideas, and the lows give you your ideas. Anybody that's looking long side, we said paid for sure, coming into the 10 to 12 and a half target. Those are our next completion targets. And if you've had a good morning already, all you need to do is move your stops up and protect your profits. If you fought this because you were afraid to buy high and sell higher, I understand. But day after day, we have talked about this idea. It's a squeeze type trade. Lock profits by 12 and a half, because that's our next resistance target.